This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by NordVPN.
Go to nordvpn.com/rogue. Use promo code ROGUE and get 75% off a 3-year plan.
Yeah, man, that's like less than $3 a month. You know what? I'm feeling generous. Let's give them an extra month free. You're welcome.
He's always doing that.
An extra month of life. What is the single worst superhero you remember reading that was unironically actually put out, hoping this would be the next big thing?
Oh, man. Forearm. He was a member of the Mutant Liberation Force.
Sorry, Forearm?
Yeah,
Is
Forearm.
F-O-U-R?
I think it was actually F-O-R-E, but he had 4 arms.
And that's it?
He had 4 arms, and he was strong.
He had 4 arms.
He had 4 arms,
and
so
was strong.
They called him Forearm.
That's it?
That was it. There's also Arm Fall Off Boy.
No, that is not
That's
a real...
a real thing.
No, it's not.
It is real. His arms would fall off. I don't know why. And they just fell off, and it's like, that was it.
And I was gonna say, did you ever read Speedball?
Dude.
Just a dude that bounced off of stuff?
Don't talk shit about Speedball.
What?
I've got a complete run.
No,
of
you
Speedball.
don't.
Steve Ditko, man.
All right. All right, Jason Murphy, as you know, there are a bajillion different articles at themodernrogue.com. We're going to shine a spotlight on one of our favorites by Christian Markle, 5 superpowers that aren't that super.
Yes, this is some real monkey's paw type stuff, right?
Is that one of the powers, is you have a monkey's paw?
Yeah, your hand is actually that of a
onto
monkey.
your hand? Yeah.
That's all it is, just a little spider monkey. It's cool at parties.
So these are real medical conditions that yield what would seem to be genuine superpowers, but with significant downsides.
I would say pretty significant downside. So my question to you for each of these is, how long would you want this power? 5 minutes?
Like as a tourist, if I was going to subscribe to the newsletter, how long until I hit unsubscribe?
Exactly. You can turn it off and then it's gone forever, but you get to use it for a little while. Do you remember the episode of The X-Files, episode 3 of season 1, where there was a guy crawling around through vents and stuff like that?
No, but I have no doubt that you absolutely remember everything about this.
I do, yeah, and he was all bendy and twisty and everything. That's what this ability makes me think of. This ability, some people are born super flexible. You would call them double jointed, but it's actually joint hypermobility syndrome.
Yeah, back when I was on tour, I worked a couple of gigs with Daniel Browning Smith, AKA the Rubber Boy, who has this exact condition. He was able to fold into a box like this size. It's amazing.
Oh, wow, yeah, because the abilities that some of these double jointed people have are remarkable. You could like take your thumb and touch it to your forearm, or just without thinking, take your feet and put them behind your head.
A friend of mine, man, I taught him at a camp. I taught magic, and he was able to clasp his hands together and was able to, step all the way through. He would step through the hoop he made and then bring it around the back forward. But okay, I guess the upside is you're super flexible. You can go in tricky places.
Yeah.
What's the downside?
So the downside is that all of your connective tissue is really like flexible and bendy, but everything else is not. And you've got all of this tissue throughout your whole body, and it can cause a lot of problems if you have one of these related joint diseases. Aside from just being super flexible and bendy, you get stuff like headaches, really bad migraines, you'll lose your balance, it can attack your heart, your digestive system, all sorts of stuff. There are just like endless problems with this, but you're super flexible. Maybe you could take it on the road. Maybe you could add another thing to your show.
I was about to say.
How long would you use this ability? How long would you like?
I would subscribe just long enough to do a tour and have that be one of the acts and then wrap it up. So what, 4 months? I would go 4 months with this.
Okay.
Because it sounds like a lot of the problems, the downsides, are long-term issues, right?
Yes.
What about you?
It's me. I don't have any use for this whatsoever.
Not even for like just one magical night with your lady? You're like, guess who's got a new talent? Get ready.
Look what I can do. Yeah, then my wife would be like, she's like, you threw your back out bending over to pick up your wallet. What's happening right now? Yeah, no, 0. I have no use for it.
Wait, you wouldn't even want one moment to experience what it's like?
No, man. Have you seen people that take their thumb? That's gross.
All right.
I don't want to do that. Wolverine's sense of smell, right?
Does he have a particularly good sense of smell?
You didn't know this?
Even if that is the case, it's a bit overshadowed by some more interesting aspects of Wolverine. Like they don't say Wolverine, the man who can smell real good.
Well, some people have what's called hyperosmia, and they can smell everything. Now, you have a very specific sense of smell. Some things bother you remarkably more than they do other people.
Shoving pickles in my face all the time. That's what this is really about.
It's about the pickles.
I'll tell you what though, I encountered somebody in the wild who had this talent. I was part of a workout group.
I'm imagining you like, I was out in the jungle.
I've seen some stuff, man.
Yeah, but you're part of a workout group.
Well, yes, there's 5 of us all on bikes pedaling.
Somebody has a really strong sense of smell?
Yeah, and so we're.
Why would you go to the gym ever?
She was the trainer. And so she's walking up and down, and then she just freezes and turns, and she goes, "Who had whiskey last night?"
And I was like, and then she goes, just kidding, I know it's Brian.
No, yeah. I was just like, how did you? She's like, it's coming out of your pores. I smell it from last night. I was like, holy crap.
Well, some people have what's called hyperosmia, and it is actually tied to joint hypermobility syndrome.
What? How so?
Joint hypermobility syndrome has an entire panoply of related illnesses, and this is one of them. And it seems at first like this would be a superpower.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, in fact, as a matter of fact, there are people who make their livings with, they're called golden noses, and they run up and down smelling armpits and identifying how good or bad stuff smells.
Yeah, or it makes them really good sommeliers with wine or whiskey. It is pretty valuable and something that you could use day to day. Do you like it? Would you like that ability?
What is the downside before I subscribe?
Well, think about this. You're in the mall and you're smelling different perfumes as you pass.
Wait a minute.
Different stores.
Now I'm realizing the downside is you don't get to select what you smell. And if something is just a little bit awful, you fully experience it.
So I know someone with hyperosmia.
Go on.
And they said, oh yeah, the worst is when you can smell someone's butt and they haven't washed their butt. And I was like, that happens? And she's like, oh, well, I can smell everyone's butt.
What?
Just like walking by them. And she goes, here's the thing. People are always farting.
I mean,
So you're walking through the mall and it's just fart city, man.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I would like about this or any upside for me.
It could make you a really good cook.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out a magic trick to do with it.
Oh, you're trying to figure
There's
out how to
nothing.
use it on your stage show? Maybe that's your trick. You're like, all right, by show of hands, who's wearing deodorant today? And then you go person to person and go, Speed Stick,
Oh, that would be amazing.
Old Spice.
Okay, that would be a pretty cool party trick. So I might do it for a week. What about you?
You know, I'm curious. I would give this one a spin. I would try it for, I would try it for about a month.
Wow, a whole
Yeah.
month?
I want to try it for about a month and just see.
You want to do it long enough to be done with it and
Yes.
then be able to press cancel.
Yes, and I really want to push and see how far it can go. Like, can I follow people? Like a bloodhound.
You walk around the city and you're like, you're around here somewhere, Mayor Adler. I'll find you.
Exactly.
So let's talk about indestructible bones.
Okay.
Our friend Dennis Rogers is pound for pound one of the strongest human beings on the planet.
And sorry it took me so long, but that's how I do.
He also has really, really tough bones because he's constantly putting force against them. He's grabbing nails and slamming them through boards and all that stuff. So he has supernaturally strong bones.
Does it work that way that you can go through like a regimen to really like strengthen your bones through impact?
Yeah, keep in mind, that's why people have a hard time coming back to Earth after spending a year at the International Space Station.
Oh, sure.
Is because every day as we move around, we're experiencing thousands of microfractures and it makes the bones stronger the more punishment they take. It's called anti-fragile is what happens. So people think that the opposite of fragile is robust. Like a chunk of rubber is robust. Anti-fragile are things that get stronger as they're broken down, like your muscles, like your bones.
Okay. So we could, for instance, go through like one of those Thai boxing things where you and I go out and kick a tree for 4 hours
Sure,
like, every day.
that sounds like a blast.
So what are some of the benefits to having like super hard bones?
I would imagine
If you're in fights?
Sure, absolutely. Think about any kind of collision. The harder bones are one's gonna break and the other one's not. And if it's a fist versus a skull, you want the harder bones in that case.
Okay, now let's incorporate this into your show.
Okay. Oh, I would do all the strongman feats, right? I mean, it would be, yeah, you know, you're breaking pans over your head or whatever. Actually, you know, for like 12 years, one of the mainstays of my stage show was taking a 30-pound concrete block and using a sledgehammer to break it over my head.
I remember, yeah.
And a few concussions later, it occurred to me like, wow, I break a lot of these over my head. And I started to add it up and I realized that if they were stacked on top of each other, it would be taller than the Empire State Building is the number of concrete blocks I've broken over my head.
How many concussions did you have?
I think only one, and it was really weird because the next morning is when I noticed it. I got up and I was driving like a 3.5-hour drive in Montana, and I was like, why do I feel drunk? Yeah,
Why am I in Montana?
Yeah, I would say I've had a taste of this one, and I can't imagine I'm better off. So what would the downside be to having awesome bones?
Well, it can cause deformations, right? Pressure on the nerves, seizures. At worst, it could be fatal.
Whoa,
right?
whoa, whoa!
Yeah,
just having really strong bones?
Well, in this instance, we're talking about osteopetrosis, which these bones can be really strong, but also that makes them really brittle, right? They're less pliable and flexible.
Oh, wild.
Yeah. So you could die.
Yeah, okay, do not want. I'm gonna say no amount of time do I want to experience any of the benefits of super strong bones. What about you?
This sounds really, really dicey. And again, I can't think of any reason I would use this. It's like someone asking me, do you want a fully equipped fighter jet? I'm like, yeah, wait, what am I gonna do with that?
Yeah, right?
You know? I'm gonna crash it into the ground. So no, I can't find any use for it myself. Okay, maybe 24 hours, fine. 24 hours.
Just long enough to-
And I raise hell.
Just long enough to enter an MMA tournament and then peace out. All right.
Exactly. They're like, well, he gets his ass kicked, but he just keeps getting up.
Absence of fear is a weird one to me because is that a psychological condition? Is it something physiological in your brain that causes you not to be able to process or assess risk?
There is something physiological. It's the neuroreceptors aren't picking up the message, and you just don't get it. You're not afraid of anything. You just don't understand it. And that's really, really dangerous.
So what is it like for you to have that?
I'm quite scared of everything, to be quite clear. I'm just not paying attention. How about that?
All right,
I wouldn't say that I'm brave. I would say that I'm Mr. Magoo.
Man, I do want to know what that would feel like, but not for very long. I mean, I guess maybe I would do it for a day and go to one of those massive roller coaster parks, right?
Okay, yeah. And so you could just waste money. You're like,
I mean, I guess weirdly that's what I would want to experience. Is
Just to
all of the
test
scares.
it?
Yeah, just to be all like, how curious, I feel nothing, and then go the next day and be like, what was I thinking?
see, I'm not really worried about like getting shot or harm to my mortal coil. Maybe I should be, with like explosions and things like that. It's the existential dread that I would like to get rid of. So I want to know if that works.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, to not be constantly afraid. I was okay.
Yeah, just
there
like
might be
general
enough-
anxiety. And
Yeah,
you're
I don't
like,
know though. I feel like that's the source of all my power. It's like that's my secret, Cap. I'm always afraid.
I'm always.
Constantly. All right, so
moving forward.
I would say for a day. You would say for the rest of your life if you could.
Oh, well, there are problems with this one, of course. Monkey's paw, right? Problems with the temporal lobe, it also leads to just a variety of other issues.
Bad decisions.
Hair loss, learning disabilities.
That definitely took a hard left turn. I didn't think hair loss would be the number one problem.
That's the one I lead with. It's like, man, I want to be brave, but I don't want my hair to fall out.
So you go how long?
I would try it for maybe a day.
Maybe a day.
Yeah, I think I could last about that long. By the end of the day, I would probably end up doing some real dumb stuff.
Let's talk about not feeling pain, the physical inability to experience pain. Sounds awesome for about 5 seconds.
I'm kind of down for it, but then I think, oh, no, wait, much like fear, pain is something that humans really need.
Especially because this is a congenital disease. It's not something you can catch after you're an adult and you have a lifetime of understanding what damages your body. You're born with it, and so as a result, like children, I mean, think about how reckless they are to begin with. Now imagine they don't even experience pain. As a result, you know, you're getting head injuries, you're stunting your own intellectual development and growth.
You can rub your eyes and screw up the corneal tissue and everything.
Go blind and your bones
Absolutely.
break and,
Yeah.
and then they
Or just
heal badly.
chewing on your lip when you're teething as a child.
Oh, God.
And it just mangles everything because you don't know that it hurts.
Well, and imagine getting a fracture and having it heal badly because you never even knew that you'd fractured your bones.
Yeah. It's pretty full scale, right? It's not just like, oh, you don't feel minor pinches or anything. You can break your leg and keep walking on it because you don't realize it's broken.
Yeah, that one, I don't think I would, even for a minute, sign up for that as a trial unless, like, I might keep a coupon in the event that I need to like sacrifice my life to save somebody else's.
Oh, like you want an ability to turn it on.
Yeah, okay, here, let's break the seal on this. And then I, pick up a body and walk on lava. And then, and I'm like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought.
That's the way I always thought you were gonna go.
I'm planning on it. I've already got a custom cask for my funeral with names on it.
It's like, I'm just waiting for some lava. I got a whole bunch of morphine right here.
just hanging around in subways waiting for earthquakes. I'm describing volcano.
So what's Brian doing here? He's got a pain coupon. Oh, okay.
Would you try it even for a second?
As far as like, yeah, I think I would actually.
Really?
Just out of curiosity. I tried for about an hour.
Okay.
I think. I don't know what the circumstances
you would do
be.
the equivalent of taste tripping with the miraculin pills.
Exactly.
You're like, oh my God, look, I'm damaging everything. This is hilarious.
Exactly. I just think of Gary Busey in Lethal Weapon. You remember? It's
Yeah.
like, your arm, Mr. Joshua. He holds out his arm and they put a lighter to it and he just sits there. I would do that a couple of times.
Yeah, what if the downside was that you had to be Gary Busey?
Is that a power? Because if I get the power to be like a Gary Busey, like under the full moon,
Busey.
Busey, and I turn into Gary Busey when the moon is full,
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'm taking it, dude.
All right, fair
Once
enough.
a month, I turn into Busey?
All right, so we all agree that the best power is to be aware Busey.
Yes!
All
All
right.
of these are dumb.
What's your favorite thing about always having a VPN?
Taking my clothes off.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. When you've got Nord, you can just be naked in your own home. And did I script the metaphor? Is that not how that works?
First of all, the N in VPN does not stand for nudes, but
on.
you can be naked.
Oh.
But you're naked if you don't have a VPN.
That's what you meant.
Sorry,
because
what-
before the internets would see you and see what you were doing and all of your traffic.
Well, I
but
mean-
now I'm just like free as a bird, man. And it's great. Thanks, Nord. I feel really comfortable now.
The worst part is you're not wrong. I mean, it's like you are legitimately safer, and it's
Yeah.
less likely that people are knowing what you're up to when you have a VPN turned on because
Right.
it's harder for cookies to track you and all that stuff. My favorite part is that the ads, I love watching all the broken ads trying to serve you up all this specific figuring out who you are stuff. But NordVPN.com/rogue. Sign up and you can get 3 years for less than $3 a month, 75% off, and you get a month free. Fastest VPN, only VPN to get a perfect score on PC Mag. I just can't stop picturing.
Nord never makes me feel ashamed. Okay. Mind control.
Oh man, that's God mode on life. As a magician, I'm like, well, that's not fair. I would be a great illusionist, though.
I mean, you got mind control. Everything else just kind of falls into place.
Can you imagine just walking out on stage going like, I was amazing. Everyone leaps to their feet, they go out and the reviews are awesome. You're like, peace out.